And welcome everyone to game number 4 of the MSL Platinum Division, or not Platinum, this is Masters Division. This is the Winners Bracket Semifinals. Like I said, game 4, we are here on Derelict Watcher watching this Protoss fire pit. Not sure what's going on here. Either way, the red player in the bottom left-hand corner of their map, even pinging the map to let us know how amazing he is. This is, of course, Jardozer. He took the series very early to a 2-0 lead, although last match, Kloud had something to say. And when I say Kloud, I do indeed mean the light blue, most of the time random, but occasionally choosing Protoss player, the top right-hand corner of the map. So we're going to see another really exciting PvZ, and it looks like we're going to see a Forge Fast Expand type build out of Kloud. Of course, I don't know if it's actually going to be Forge. Generally, you will see Forge, but it could be a Gateway Expand as well. One of the main differences is that Forge Fast Expands dealt with the fact in Wings of Liberty that Protosses really didn't have very much early game that they could do to defend themselves, and so you had to get that Forge down so then you could do cannons behind your wall. Now, in the introduction of the Mothership Core, you now have the Nexus Cannon, and you have the ability now to be a little bit more aggressive if you would like, and not rely entirely on the cannons. And so the Gateway Expand allows you to be more aggressive while still staying a little bit safe, as you can get that Mothership Core out quickly. So, looks like we're going to see a really exciting game here. Really late. Okay, whew. I didn't see this initially, hiding down here at the very bottom of the map. Looks like we go for an early pull out of Jardozer. No gas, though, which means instead he's probably just going to go pool hatch. Nothing crazy. Kloud is going to be super annoying while he can. He's going to go, in fact, check. And he's not going to get the block off because he went to go check to see what was taking his opponent so long. We do see, of course, that this was the Forge Fast Expand. A little bit of a weird wall off. Pylons, the only reason I say that, pylons are lower hit points. They have half as many hit points as a Forge, and less than half as many as a Gateway. So generally you see the pylons stuck a little bit farther back, making sure they can't get targeted down and have anything be depowered. The reason that you do something like this, though, is that you're trying to get that wall up early, which when you scout an early pool, that is very, very likely. And so out of this, it looks like Jardozer's just going to expand. And now we're going to see a proper PvZ. The first PvZ that we saw was a little bit crazy. We had all sorts of shenanigans. We had a proxy 2-gate, some zealots getting stuck in some crazy pieces of obstacles, aka the rally point hadn't been set and got stuck in between the other buildings. That was really painful, actually. Good reactions out of both players, but the game essentially re-equalized and kind of renormalized, but with both players being delayed roughly the same amount of time. Now here, we're just going to see a very standard, very standard game. The Forge Fast Expand is excellent, allows you to be defensive against any of these upcoming Zerg attacks, and what Zerg players have finally discovered, when I say finally, I mean towards the end of Wings of Liberty, they discovered they don't really need to go attack. Why not, while this Protoss player is forcing themselves to be passive, why don't we do what they're doing, play passive, and just macro like crazy? Zerg has the distinction of being able to produce way more than the number of drones they have, than the number of hatcheries, I guess. You don't just build one unit out of one building at a time. You can build 8 out of one building at a time. Doesn't even matter. Look at that, we do have 4 drones on their way right now. And another thing, just really want to re-emphasize this for everyone, especially the newer players. As a Zerg, you need to stay a base ahead. Look, just barely staying even to workers. Just barely. Even with this other base. That's important. The Zerg, or the Protoss player will generally have to remain passive in the Forge Fast Expand until somewhere between 8 and 10 minutes, depending on what exactly they're doing out of that. It's really common to see an Immortal Sentry all-in. That doesn't mean it's actually required, though. There are many different things that the Protoss player can do, but generally they're passive until roughly that time period, and during that time you have to get enough economy and get enough larvae so then you'll be able to combat the Protoss player in the mid game. He's gonna pull off. Ooh, almost lost that Zergling, but he did not. It was a hero. Mothership Core going out on the map by itself will be able to get some done, but with so many queens on the map, it's not really going to be able to do too much. 14 drones. Love it. Look at the supply difference. Whew, 55 drones. That's what you need. That is what you need. So now, the question is, what exactly is he going to be doing? Here he's grabbing almost all of his gas geysers simultaneously. Okay, he's just going for 4, not going crazy. Does get a macro hatch. He does have creep spread in the middle of his base. That's a big deal. This is a big map with lots of wide open spaces. A whole bunch of queens. Oh my goodness. Is this a 6 queen? 5 queen. Not a 6 queen. Those are likely for creep spread and for the potential of starport play. Sky toss is becoming increasingly common. In fact, oh my goodness, who was it? At IEM Shanghai, there was this crazy player with this insane Phoenix build for Sky Toss, and he took down lots and lots of good Protosses with it. It was ridiculous. In fact, he was actually doing quite well overall. He even took down Innovation, which Innovation is generally considered at this point in time to be one of the best StarCraft 2 players in existence, and he even plays Terran. So the build wasn't even specifically targeted at him. So Sky Toss, it's a big thing, and starting out with lots of queens is one way to help make sure that you can survive anything kind of crazy. Weird placement here with that queen, but, you know, do what you want. Additional creep spread, doing good there. What kind of tech do we have coming out? We do have speed on its way. Is Lair? Lair is almost done, so we're going to see whatever that tech is here sometime soon. Double Evo chamber. Because of all those gases that have now been taken, he's now having that ability during that time frame to start really teching. There was no attack. His opponent continued to macro. So Kloud continuing to macro, and so is Jardozer. I feel like this passivity, though, is going to be Kloud's undoing. He's now down by 40, 50 supply. He's not going to be able to do anything against that. Force fielding things on the wrong sides. The Immortals here getting absolutely destroyed. The sentries here still protected, but just barely. The Zealots here should be able to force these Zerglings back, although that was pretty painful. I really feel like at this point in time, or actually not at this point in time, about 3 minutes in the past, the Mothership Core should have been used a little bit more heavily with some additional units to just force some units out of Jardozer, because now 72 drones to 57 probes. And at this point in time, he's now got the ability to keep producing enough units to keep him out, and I think that's actually exactly how this game is going to play out. Yeah, wow, down by 70 food. We've talked before, Protoss high-tech army can do great. The problem, this is a Protoss mid-tech army. Or rather, a tier 2. Actually, this is pretty much tier 1, or maybe 1.5, depending on how technical you want to get. This cannon here is in a really weird place. The Zealot here, that was not... What? How in the world did that get in? The Zealot was off to the side, and that is a big problem. Nexus, oh my goodness, the upgrade is going to be shot down. Photon Overcharge is going down. They're going to try and get some of these other units here, but now with that Photon Overcharge, all the Roaches and Zerglings are coming to attack on this other side, and that's not something you want to see happen at all. Although, good force fields, he needs to pull back and let those cannons do some damage from back here. Doesn't want to lose any more units to the Roaches behind than he needs to. Mothership Core feeling threatening, but not really doing much of anything. And now these units are going to have to come in and try to pinch these off. And what in the world? Okay. The Zealots here, some good, decent force fields. One more, and they could keep him forced in there. And then the Sentries and the Stalkers could do the damage from behind. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Kloud might actually fall to this aggression. We do see continued Roach production out of Jardozer, so this is not going to stop anytime soon. 17 more. What do we have? We have a Colossi and Extended Thermal Lance on its way. We have another Photon Overcharge going down. He needs to fight back deeper in the range there. Keep microing back. Let that DPS from the Nexus cannon, the Photon Overcharge, really get some damage done for you. But it looks like it's going to be too many Roaches still streaming in. There's a Colossi here, but it's very, very vulnerable. It's going to be picked off almost immediately. Oh, it's going to be able to escape, but not for long. Going to try to micro away, trying to pull off all those probes to let that Colossi do the damage, but it's not going to happen. He needed to keep retreating. That is painful. Oh, look at that line of units across. Jardozer smelling blood, and it looks like he is going to... He's going to find it. You know what happens when men seek blood? They usually find it. It's okay. I think I heard that in Firefly, which is a great game. Good game out of Jardozer and Kloud, and it looks like Kloud is playing either a little bit greedier or a little bit more passive than perhaps he should have to take home another victory, and it looks like Jardozer is going to go to the Winners Bracket Finals. So congratulations there. You and your outstanding 245 average APM. That's amazing. And Kloud, excellent games. I feel like this is still pretty close. Kind of the weird zealot that was a little bit out of position. It was in the right size hole, but it was like hugging the gateway for some reason, allowing the Zerglings to get in. Also, the cannon was part of the wall. Cannons have way less hit points than basically anything. So the wall is a little bit weird, but it may be something you practice on this map that allows you to get that wall off earlier. And it's just really hard. I think the solution here might have been to use the Mothership Core and a few more units to force out some non-drone units from Jardozer, and then recall and just kind of be annoying like that. Either way, excellent set of games, and I think, Kloud, you'll probably have a very good chance in the losers bracket, and either way, I'm excited to see more games out of both of you players in the future. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Thumbs up, like it, share it, watch it a whole bunch of times, whatever. I'm just excited to watch more games from these players here in the future. So congratulations once again, and come back later. I'll have some more games for y'all.